Alfie for joining us from Haverfordwest Rugby's youth side, getting ready, we hope, to tour Ireland next April. We will leave the GoFundMe link on the Facebook page. We'll give that a big mention as well in the weeks ahead. We wish them lots of luck. And Gordon, a bit of a trip down memory lane that for you, wasn't it?
It sure was, and it's great to see that Haverfordwest youth are going out to Ireland to play again. And the boys will have a brilliant tour together, playing together, enjoying each other's company. It's a unique experience, to say the least, Ben, to be honest with you. It doesn't happen so often these days because of the expense of everything. So, dip your hands in your pockets and get these boys over to Ireland to experience. They'll enjoy the rugby out there, and they'll enjoy the Irish crack, as they say.
And some talented players there as well. They're going well, aren't they?
They're unbeaten this season as well, and they're going well. And it's a big step up for them next season to play senior rugby. There's a bit of a divide there because there's not a lot of second team rugby these days, and this is where we lose a lot of players where they're not quite up to play in senior rugby, so they sort of leave the game. There should be something in between where they can play second team rugby and in a few years' time play senior rugby altogether. That's what.
And I have to say, I don't think I was aware of the age cap that you have to be 18 to play senior rugby. I'm not sure that's a thing in English rugby necessarily, which is why it may have caught me out a bit, actually. But is that a hindrance, Gordon? I mean, if you're 7...
I think 18 is...
is that right?
Yeah, definitely. It's such a physical game, Ben. For a kid going into senior rugby, it's a big deal. You're not playing with boys anymore. You're playing against men. And the physicality of it can be quite daunting for youngsters going into a game of rugby. But some adapt more quickly than others, and they just need time to bed in. And let's hope a lot of these Haverfordwest youth boys will continue to play for the rest of their careers, because there's no better game playing on a Saturday afternoon. Football, I should say, or rugby. Before I get into trouble.
I think we had 3 popular players there, Tom, as well. The comments were buzzing on the Facebook page, weren't they?
I don't think we've ever had as many comments. And they were all lovely as well. At that age, you never know what's going to come up on the screen, but they're very supportive. And I think that shows the camaraderie of the atmosphere they've got in that club at the moment. They're flying high in the league, and they just want to have a bit of fun before you get to that age where people go off and do new things. Let's make a core memory together.
Yeah, indeed. We'll go back to rugby. So part 3, we are going to talk about Warren Gatland and where Wales go next, and should he stay. It was a split vote, really, with the Haverfordwest youth players. But if you want to give us some comments on that, ready for part 3. Warren Gatland in or out? Simple as that. Just let us know. But let's talk football, shall we? And we said last week, we'll start with Haverfordwest County. We said last week the game against Ammanford was a potential banana skin. Not so much because Haverfordwest aren't going well, because they're third in the table, but I don't know, Gordon, there's something about a local derby in a cup as well for the team that's third in the division above. You always think they're there to be shot at, really, aren't they, by the opposition? And Ammanford gave it a good go, didn't they, on Saturday?
Ben, before you go any further, it's not a derby game. Okay?
No, come on.
Ammanford and Haverfordwest.
Of course it is.
Miles between them. That's not a derby game.
Of course it is.
What I will say is that, yes, it was a potential banana skin. I agree with you.
One sec.
Wholeheartedly.
One sec. Gordon, there's never 60 miles between Haverfordwest and Ammanford.
Okay. 45?
Okay, you'll go 45. Tom, and I'll get the official number. I don't know which way Gordon's going. Gordon's going via Tenby.
Hang on, he's not far.
I'm not far off, mate. I've been to Ammanford many times.
Yeah, so Swansea's 50, so it's...
Yeah. I'd say 35, I'd say.
35.
Well, I'll give you the official number.
I'll have a tenner on it. It's not 35, it's further, okay? Do you want the bet?
Okay. Haverfordwest to Ammanford is 49 miles, Gordon. Well done. Yeah, it's not 60 though, is it?
I don't know where I'm going, Ben. Not a clue.
It's
there you go. You don't call that a derby game. There you go.
It's never 60 though, Gord, is it? I mean,
let's talk about the football. That's the most important thing.
It's definitely a derby. Definitely.
There you go. If you want to call it a derby, there's no way I'd call it a derby.
Well, it's a Pembrokeshire Carmarthenshire derby, isn't it? Anyway, Ammanford, we did say would be a tricky game, and again, not because Haverfordwest aren't going well in the league above, but those matches are banana skins, aren't they? In a November Saturday, ended 1-1. It was a fiercely fought game, though, wasn't it?
Definitely, Haverfordwest led for 3/4 of it, and they got that. When it's only 1-0, you're in danger of just leaking that one goal.
Yeah,
and that's what happened. It did leak. Haverfordwest had the better of the chances overall on the day, but they didn't put them away. Ammanford, who are actually managed by a former Bluebird, Wyn Thomas, did a good number on Tony Pennock's side. Yes, Tony did shuffle his pack around because he needs to give the other boys some game time as well, which he did. And the hero of the afternoon was the goalkeeper who replaced Zach Jones, and he was the hero of the penalty shootout. And they're through to the last 16. We were talking off air. It is an opportunity for Haverfordwest to do very well in this Welsh Cup competition because some of the bigger sides aren't involved. But there is money for each round as well. I'm sure the Bluebirds would love to put a few more coffers in their bank. And it's a good opportunity for them to get through to quarters, semi-finals, and maybe the final. You can't run ahead of yourself, obviously. You can only take each round at a time. But they have got a good opportunity in this cup to go further.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And you're right. You do wonder whether the name could be on the cup when you see how that one plays out. And you're right, Ivan. Not the story for people who didn't watch it and haven't seen it on social media was that the keeper scored the winning penalty. I've watched it about 10 times.
Yeah.
And it finished 10-9, didn't it, to Haverfordwest on penalties?
Yeah.
And Ivan not stepped up. Kept his cool remarkably because as a goalkeeper, I always think goalkeepers make good penalty takers because they can keep their head down and just kick
ironically, he was the other goalkeeper that missed the penalty.
Yeah, exactly. One question, and this is nothing against Ivan Knott, and I have to say, and I'm not going to share what the Haverfordwest County chairman said, but I did ask him this question as well.
Okay.
Do you think goalkeepers, when they take penalties, should keep their gloves on? Yes or no?
I've never ever thought about that, Ben, to be honest.
For some reason, there's one thing in football that makes me feel anxious when a goalkeeper takes penalties when they have their gloves on. Take them off. Make yourself an outfield player.
Okay. If you leave your gloves on, you're not confident in taking a penalty. Is that what you're saying?
This is notwithstanding Ivan not keeping his cool and scoring his penalty with his gloves on. It's just a general point. I feel more confident if goalkeepers take their gloves off when they take the penalty because it makes them an outfield player.
It never entered my mind that.
Think about it now, Gord. What
the
was
most important thing was putting the ball in the back of the net, as far as I'm concerned. It didn't matter if he had socks on his arms or whatever he was wearing, as long as he put it in the net from 12 yards. It didn't matter what you're doing.
Do you know? Incredible though. Ryan Evans has just said is that penalty shootout number 8 since Tony Pennock has been at the club. That's incredible, isn't it?
Am I right, Ryan? They haven't lost one, have they? Have they lost one? Please correct me.
You raised a good point there.
I think they've certainly won more of the ones that matter, haven't they?
Won more than what they've lost, that's for sure.
Yeah. So seriously, well done, Ivan, not for doing that. Should goalkeepers wear gloves when they take penalties? I don't think so. I feel more confident they take them off. But you can give us your views on that. Haverfordwest into the next round, back in league action as well.
Gloves off. What next, Ben? What's going on here, mate?
It's just an observation. When I have watched it a few times, and Ryan has confirmed they've won 6 out of those 8 shootouts.
That's excellent.
That is excellent.
The Germany of Haverfordwest.
Yeah, exactly right. Excellent result, and I have to say, I'm sure they enjoyed the short coach journey home after that local derby in Ammanford back to Haverfordwest. I bet that was a good coach on the way back. And it is good as well, the point you made, Gordon, as well, that he did rotate the squad. And for some of those younger players as well, who are used to playing on the 4G surfaces that they've been playing on in Carmarthen, to actually... That's another test, isn't it? Because they're playing on a heavier pitch away from home against a side who will be physical, who will test you. And that's good for those young players too.
Definitely. I think now Tony may be thinking along the lines of what I just said, that they'd like to do well in this competition. So they may go a bit stronger in the next round to try and secure their quarter-final place. And then he will go strong all the way through then, I would think, to try and get to the final.
Yeah,
But we'll
indeed.
have to wait and see. We take each round as it comes, and hopefully Haverfordwest will get to a Welsh Cup final. That was great to go and see that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That would be really good. Now, did you watch any local football at the weekend,
I
Paul?
did. You know me. I was out and about on Saturday afternoon. It was quite a wet afternoon for us. I don't know what it was like in Cheltenham, because it's like Honolulu up there, isn't it? You tell me. So we had a bit of rain on Saturday.
wet here.
I went to watch Clarby Road playing Tish. And Clarby came away with a comfortable 5-2 win, and I nipped up to the Pembrokeshire Sports Village, the 3G pitch up in Haverfordwest High School, and the Merlinsbridge took on top of the table Goodwick, and Goodwick won 3-0, but they didn't have it all their own way. I have to say Merlinsbridge played very well in the latter part of the first half, I saw, but they got undone with a trademark free kick from Rhys Jones, who scored from about 25 yards to give them a 1-0 half-time lead. And then after the break, it was 2 set-piece again taken from Rhys Jones, one an own goal, and the other one might have had a nick to it as well. So they won 3-0, and that's their 12th consecutive win of the season. So they're on countdown towards the league title. Hakin United, they got a very good win at Monkton Swifts. They're still 4 points behind Goodwick, but it could come down to them playing each other, and Goodwick would have to slip up with another game as well if Hakin are going to actually, nick the title off him. It's going to be an interesting finish to the season, I think.
Yeah, indeed. Goodwick maybe haven't been at their absolute best over the last few weeks, but they're still winning games, aren't they? And when you do that, you think, they just get that bit of momentum. They get on a roll, don't they? And they top the table by 4 points from Hakin, who were second. A couple of other scores that you didn't mention. Kilgetty had a good win, didn't they? They went to Tenby and won 3-2. And Tenby, fourth in the table, and had been going well. And we've all said they could be a team to watch in the Cups, Gordon.
Yeah, they were leading 2-1 after 80 minutes, and 2 goals in the space of a minute. One from Lloyd Hughes, who equalised, and a minute later, Richard Copes stuck in the winner. Give them a surprise win against Tenby, to be honest with you. But Kilgetty, as they proved time and time again, even though they haven't had the best of seasons, they're still capable of beating any team on their day. And Tenby will be bitterly disappointed with that result, because that is a derby game, and there's only a few miles between Kilgetty and Tenby. I don't know exactly, but if you want to check that out, it's a few miles between them. I call that a derby game, mate.
Yeah, that is definitely the Pembrokeshire League derby. Yeah,
poor old Herbrinston. The bottom 2 playing each other, and Carew won 16-0.
Yeah,
it's really. It's not really looking very good for Herbie at all. I'm hoping they will pick up a win before the season's out, but it's not. It's looking very difficult at this moment in time. And Carew could dig themselves out of trouble now. They're capable of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shame for Herbrinston, who've had a couple of better results of late, but they'll be disappointed there to slip to a really, really big defeat. And the one thing I thought about with that game as well, with Carew, not far above them in the table, that actually goal difference for Carew, that's taken a real boost, hasn't it, by sticking 16 goals in one game. So it's been a tricky first half of the season, there's no doubt about it, and we say what we say.
And poor old Tish have gone into the relegation zone again now, so after they've had a few decent results, they find themselves in that you don't want to be stuck there by the end of the season, do you? Otherwise you're playing Division 2 football.
Exactly. Just
3 points though between 11th and 7th.
I know, it's quite tight, Tom, isn't it? It's quite tight.
No, it is tight.
It's going to be interesting. There's going to be a few swings during the season. Anything can happen. But at this moment in time, I don't like to say it, but Tish and Herbie are looking a little bit ominous. But we'll have to wait and see.
Quick mention for Division 2, where Hakin reserves are still top. They put 7 goals past Loreni, won 7-2. Narberth are second. They had a 4-0 win over Nayland. And Camrose are continuing to go well. They're in third, and they went to Solver and won 4-1 on Saturday as well. So yeah,
I
looking good there.
Haking seconds, Evan Rutherford, he scored 4 goals. I'm sure he'll be knocking on the door of Scott Davis to let him know that he's available for first team duty soon. He's been playing very well. He's only a youngster, but hopefully there'll be an opening for Evan in the next few weeks or so. They'll have a look at him in the first team.
One to watch, yeah. Tight at the top of Division 2 as well. Tom, were you in action for Broadhaven at the weekend?
I wasn't, sadly, but I know that the seconds have had back-to-back wins against Kilgetty second, so we'll take that. The first, they were still finding it a bit difficult in Division 2, so hopefully that'll turn a corner soon.
There was a hell of a scoreline in Division 5, 23-0 one side lost. There was a...
goodness,
Cricket club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haverfordwest Cricket Club second team, was that?
It was Haverfordwest Cricket Club reserves 23, Milford Athletic reserves 0.
My God,
that's a tough afternoon for Milford, right?
That is a very tough afternoon.
Yeah,
I don't like seeing scorelines of that margin in any league, but Milford Athletic seconds have certainly got to improve, haven't they? And they think Wales got problems, but there you go.
I thought Haverford Cricket Club could have declared at 19-0, couldn't they?
I'm sure they were thinking that way, to be honest with you, Ben.
Go on, Tom.
I'm sure that Dan mentioned it on his sports update, but he was quite proud of Johnston Seconds with their comeback victory on Saturday. So, Dan, I've mentioned it on the show for you as well.
And who were Johnston playing? Can you remember? Can you tell us?
It was, let's have a look. Let's get the schedule up, results. We'll get it here now.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong division. In Division 4... it was Johnston Tish away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. Well done to them.
A goalkeeper, was it blue card? Was that the first? But yeah, Johnston doing well.
Indeed. And just one final mention in this part, then we'll move on to rugby in part 3. Just for Haverfordwest player, actually, for Luke Tabone, who made his first start for Malta in the Nations League over the weekend. So that's absolutely brilliant.
But also he had a header that he thought he'd scored, but it was given as an own goal. So it must be deflected off somebody. But well done, Luke.
It's
well
great.
done.
I remember the Bluebirds update, having him here in the studio and having a chat with him and saying that he'd been part of the development side and he'd gone through it, and then he moved to Wales and then he kind of drifted off, and there he is. He's now starting for Malta.
And we will hopefully talk to him on the show again, because I'd love to hear about his international experience. And I had a look at the Malta squad, and there are players spread right over Europe that are playing for Malta. So obviously he's flying the Haverfordwest flag, but players in Italy, some players playing domestically, but all over the place. So he's in with an interesting mix, and what he'll bring back to Haverfordwest will be good as well, because that's some experience. Gordon, you might know the answer to this. Is he the first international to be capped whilst at Haverfordwest? Don't know if there's anyone else. Maybe that's another one for Ryan to answer.
Yeah, that's a good. I think he is at that level. There's been internationals played for Haverfordwest. But having, playing for Haverfordwest and playing for an international team, it may be a first. I mean, some of them have played for Wales C and all that, but for a proper international, I think you're right.
I can't think of any.
I don't recollect anybody.
No. Okay, well, maybe someone can give us the answer, but really well done to Luke, flying the Pembrokeshire flag for Malta, who I think are back in Nations League action tomorrow, as Wales are as well, aren't they?
Big game for Wales tomorrow evening too. It is a big game.
And another good result actually in Turkey. That's a tricky away game, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and Craig Bellamy's still unbeaten with the Welsh team, but they'll need a win tomorrow, I think, to hopefully secure them going through to the next round.
And
matches.
Some thought that Joe Allen may start tomorrow as well for Wales, so we'll keep an eye on that. Tuesday football for Craig Bellamy's side, and he's made a real impressive start, I think, to life as Wales head coach. Yeah, he's certainly not under pressure. One man who is Warren Gatland, and we'll talk about him in part 3. We'll also round up some of the local rugby action as well, because there were some good games from over the weekend, and we've got some boxing news and a look ahead to a special show coming up from the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards in a couple of weeks' time. That's all on the way in the final part of your Pure West Sport this Monday evening.
Eaton-Evans and Morris is a client-focused